So always
Hmm.
think about in the production level code. This is definitely not a red flag, but it's good to see to write in a production level environment. Yeah, think about the requirements first, optimal code first. If you can't think of the optimal code, then think about the good force and get it and take things.
Hello guys, as many of you know already that I started mentorship sessions as a giveaway. Today I'm very excited to announce that I will be starting mock interview sessions as well for free. And today I have Nikita with me from Arizona. Let's see how this interview goes.
But hey guys, for the folks who doesn't know me, my name is Ravi. I'm currently working as a senior software engineer at Hopper. And today we'll be conducting a mock interview with Nikita. Hey Nikita, can you introduce yourself?
Hey, Ravi. I'm Nikita. I have 8 years of experience working on web applications based out of Java, on the Java. I'm currently working for Accenture. I have more experience working on building e-commerce frameworks on both B2B and B2C models. I have extensively worked on developing RESTful web services.
Alright, so Nikita, I'm going to share you a Codapad link. Please take a look and let me know if you can see. I already copied and pasted a question there. Let me know if you see.
Okay. Yeah, I see it.
Okay, great. Okay, I will give you time to go through it and let me know if you have any questions.
Yeah, okay. I don't think I'm seeing the complete question.
So the question that I copied here is given a series of flight destinations represented by characters, find the longest flight path such that the flight destinations can't be repeated. Do you see that?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
So these represents the A represents the Austin location, B for Boston, and C for Chicago, and so on.
Okay.
So the question here is to you know there could be a flight destinations path which are represented by different characters, and now here the ask is to find whatever the longest flight path, and the flight destination should not be repeated.
Okay.
Okay, I copied and pasted an example. Do you see that?
Yeah, I see that.
Okay.
So the input is UABMBAUC. For that answer is BAUC because it's the longest flight path that the flight destination cannot be repeated. Okay.
So basically, you can just start with returning the largest length of the flight destinations. We can get the answer like BAUC, the flight path later. But you
Okay.
can think of writing an optimized code to get the maximum length of the
Okay.
flight path.
Okay. Um, since I need to track the locations, I am planning to use a set to I'll iterate through this input characters, and as I iterate, I take them into a set. Whenever I find a character which is already present in the set, then I'll have I'll use a sliding window. So I'll reduce the the start index until the point where the duplicate character
Okay.
is present. Like so the start index would be next to the duplicate character, and then I'll change my count according to that. I would have saved the length of the maximum subarray without any duplications until I found the duplicate character.
Okay, that sounds good.
Um, so I'll start by writing a method in here. I'm planning to write a separate method here, and call it from flight tracker.
Okay.
Um, since we need to return an integer, let's say the returning int. Oh, Depth is bounds. I would have a max length variable to track the max length of the uh, flight path, and I will have another counter, just to count the number of destinations, number of characters, and I'll iterate through through the flight path characters. And I'll also have a set of which takes in characters. I'll for each entry, so this I represents the end of the string. I'll have another uh, index tracker for the start index of each subset. Uh, Start index of the sliding window.
Okay.
And of start. This I would be in. Others end. Now for each end destination, I'll check if set has that character or not. If it if it doesn't contain, then I'll just add it to the set. If it does contain, then I'll until I'll iterate with the start index until I find the duplicate element.
Okay.
So my condition would be start less than end, or I'll say if the until the like, reduce until start not equals end. End. And I'll be removing that element. and I'll reduce the start.
Perfect.
So and now since now the start element would point to the element which is equal to the duplicate character. Now I will want to remove that as well. So I'll reduce the start one more time and remove the duplicate element. And so before getting into this loop, I'll try to get the when I reduce the start, I'll also have to reduce the counter. And maybe I have to start minus minus because I'm about reducing start again here. And I'll have to increase the counter. I'll increase the counter in here when it doesn't match. And here so now I'll update the max limits with the maximum of already existing max length or the current count, whichever is the maximum. I'll take it into the max length and I'll return the max length.
Okay.
Yeah. So I instead of this counter, I can also just take the start in minus start. But counter will also work.
Got it.
I'll try to run it with this to sampling the input and
Sure.
see.
Let's do that. So let me do it. So basically, you gotta write the public static void main, and this has to be inside the class. Yeah, you can try to run it now.
Yeah.
Oh, I think you need to print the output. Okay.
I think it's looking for the solution. Should we change?
Oh,
Should we change the class?
yes. Go ahead and change to solution. Yes.
Okay. Let me check these errors.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay, we can check back into errors later. These are like the index out of one error somewhere that's happening. But before
Yeah.
that, can you take an example and simulate the solution? Okay, Lord.
Yeah. I do it for the same input.
Sure.
So for this input, my max length would initially be 0. The counter would initially be 0.
Okay.
And set would initially be empty. And when we start iterating over the string, say when end is 0, we'll update the set to, since the u is not present in the set, we'll update the set with u. And same with a, end will be, next iteration of end will be 1, and the counter will be 1. For the next iteration, a is not present, so we'll take in a, and I increment count to 2. And next we go with end as 2, which is b. B is not present in the set, I'll take in b. And then increment the count to 3. And then iterate for the next turn, n will be 3. And m is the character, and m is not present in the set, so we'll take in m.
Okay.
And next we'll iterate, we'll increment the count to 4. Next the iteration would be 4, which the character is b. Since b is already present in the set, we will take the max length so far, maximum of 0, and the current count 4 is 4, so we'll change the max length to 4. And then we'll get into a while loop where until the start index character is not equal to the end character, which is b, we'll decrement the start. Now the start is currently 0. So since the element at 0, which is u, is not equal to b, we'll remove the u from the set and decrement the count to 3.
Right.
And then go at the next element, increment start by 1, and the next element is a. A is not equals to b, so we'll remove b again from the set and decrement the count by 2. And next go for the next element in the start. which is this, which is B, which is equal to which is present in the set. Sorry, which is equal to the end index L. So we will come out of the while loop, but we do have these remove elements. So we will remove this B as well from it and decrement the count by 1 and and the start would increment by 3. Now
So you're decrementing the start pointer also once coming out of the while loop, right?
yeah.
Okay, so you you implemented the start is for the next step that you're mentioning. So basically you are done with the
I'm actually supposed to increment the star. I'm sorry. I think that's why I'm getting this index out of bounds. Since the previous character would be B and my condition on while loop is not equals start, it's and it's already I'm at the duplicate element and I want to start the next sliding window from the next element. I'm decrementing again start. I'm increasing start again and decrementing the count.
Okay.
So B wouldn't be there, but the start would now be 3, which is M.
Okay.
And set will have only M. Now the end is 4. So we will need to take in this 4 as well into the set. So I will remove this else bar and let just be the. So irrespective of whether
Perfect.
now it will take in that as well. So now we'll add the B as usual to set and increment the counter to 5 for the next iteration. And our max length would be 4, and it's only checked when we again see any duplicate element. Until then the max length will be 4.
Correct. So basically, in the output that I actually gave as part of the example, I think it should be fine. 04, because M, B, A, U, C, all these are like unique characters and they're not duplicates. But yeah, if you iterate it to the end, I believe your logic will work. The max.
Yeah. I'll again at the end taking max length because at the end of the character there will not be any repetition. So I didn't update the max length. So I'll just update the max length at the end as well by comparing to the existing max length and count again. So the process here continues. And we are at A. A is not there, so we'll take in A. And I think our counter would have been incremented by. I can actually take the size of the set as instead of having a counter. So I'm removing the count altogether. So now I'm at 5, index 5, which is I have already put it in the set. And so next I again go with the next iteration 6, which is U. I'll take in U as well because it's not present. Then go for the next iteration 7. And 7 is C. So since it's not there in the set, it'll be taken into the set. And since the size of the set is 5 and it's more than the current max length, the max length will be updated to 5.
Got it. Cool. Are there any other updates that you wanted to make to this code? Or are you good?
I'm good with this, yeah.
Okay.
I'll try.
May I know
Yeah.
what is the space and time complexity of the solutions that you wrote?
Space complexity will be since we are using extra set to store the characters in the current window, it will be, if at max it can be O of n if we store all the elements in the set, all the elements in the string, all the characters in the string. And the time complexity will be O of n as well. I know we are decrementing, but
Okay.
it once that we are iterating.
Got it. So what are other sort of test cases that you write for this program?
So will there be any I'll try to see when how it works when the string is empty. I believe the max length would be 0 and it returns 0. Size of the set will also be 0 and will not be iterating through this loop. And that's one. And the other edge case I'll use, let me check for another path where I just give the same characters again and again. Then in that case, the set will take only the last element. So I think it will return 1. Max length will be 1. That's one test case I would check for.
Okay.
And yeah, these are the test cases that I would check for.
Sure. Sounds good. So as it's like closer to 30 minutes, I would like to end this interview and give you feedback. So, I would want you to, I mean, the code wise, I think you did great. But there are other factors where you could improve a little bit, and I'm going to, tell you like step by step. Okay.
Yeah.
So, as soon as a problem is given, uh, as an interviewer, generally the problem will be very vague, and that is the expectation here for a senior engineer or an engineer with a experienced candidates like you is to sort out the vagueness and convert them into requirements. Okay.
Got
So I think you got confused reading this question. So how I would expect you to present was, you can actually double check on the question if there is anything else that is there as part of the question. If not, then you should start making an assumption, thinking like what could be the constraints of this, or what could be an input and what could be an output. So you
Yeah.
can tell the assumptions so that you can tell what is the thing that you were expected, and so that interviewer will give his feedback of what I'm expecting, something kind of like, I'm expecting an integer or a long as an output. And yeah, you can also ask about the constraints, like whether there will be any special characters or will there be any double letters for flights to, update your programming logic. Because here in this example, I gave like very randomly, like A for Austin, B for Boston, U for Utah, and there might be other cases, NY for New York. Uh, so always think about the edge cases first before even jumping into the coding. And then any constraints, whether this is like a stream or we will have like any predefined set of flight digits where we can, flight characters that you can work it on as a data set, or will there be like a kind of a stream where you have to keep on updating the program. So all these sort of questions before jumping in the program. Okay. Now, once your requirements are clear, start discussing an approach. If you are unsure, now you handled really well because you saw what is a problem and the sliding window approach that you took worked well. But if you don't know like how to approach a problem, try to always talk what is in your head. Come with a brute force solution, but discuss about the space and time complexity, and that is the downside of writing that sort of code, which is not the production level. So you can tell like I'm still thinking through an optimal solution where this is a brute force solution, and the time complexity and the space complexity is this and this, and this is what I'm thinking through. Now, as part of the approach, obviously you handled it very well. As I said before, sliding window is a perfect coding pattern to be used to solve such kind of problems. Now, coming to the coding logic that you wrote, it's great that you identified your mistakes without any hints that I gave in between. Those are actually okay to make some mistakes, but listen to your interviewer what they're trying to tell. They will give like a small tips where you have to catch it, and then you gotta understand why he's making that comment, and then approach your solution. And there is a much better way of tackling this logic. Not going to share, but there is nothing wrong in writing code like this, but just for the simplicity's sake, see if you can write more optimized code in terms of decreasing the length or the lines of code.
Okay.
You also did good to eliminate one of the variables and update it with the set dot size, which is great. And as you are writing the solution, it's also good to communicate with your interviewer and tell that this is what I'm thinking, and you can update it. So interviewer might be okay, or if you understand, then you can skip it. But you just need to communicate well enough with the interviewer. Okay, that is another feedback. And at the end, before even I ask about the space and the time complexity, you have to come up with discussing this, because this is like the expectation from the interviewer that you would discuss. And the other thing is about the test cases. You would start thinking of all the edge cases from the beginning, and then tell about these are the test cases that I would write in a production level code.
Okay.
But apart from that, the naming convention is good. But because this is like the flight tracker, always think of in a production level code and don't miss out on anything like variables like set. This did not make sense, but you can replace it with a flight inline memory or something like that, which makes sense for this particular context. So always think about in the production level code. This is definitely not a red flag, but it's good to see to write in a production level environment, whatever the code that you're going to write. Okay. So yeah, think about the requirements first, optimal code first. If you can't think of the optimal code, then think about the brute force and communicate with the interviewer and take hints to see how you can solve the problem. Then discuss about the test cases and space and time complexity at the end, and also leave interviewer with couple of questions whether this looks okay, or do I think there are any improvements that are needed. So always, over communicating is always good during the interview. But overall, I believe this interview went great. Okay. Um, so let me know if you find these, comments helpful. But for the sake of just for the interview, I'm going to stop the recording. Uh,
Yep.
all right. Again, it's great, chatting with you, Nikita.
Thank you, Ravi. Thank you for doing this.
No worries.